This one's about how I filled my house, I guess. And I call it a house, I don't call it a home because it's not a home. Not yet. Not actually, I can't see it being a home. It's a place where I reside. We're in a sort of fortunate position that, we had a little bit of money, and by a little bit I mean about $1,000 that I could play with. So that allowed me to, look online and get a cheap bed, get a cheap mattress. I utilised Gumtree in order to find other things. Friends were fantastic. I have some wonderful friends who, it's like, John, I've got this, do you want it? I've got that, do you want it? I had one couple who, they had a house here in Canberra and they've got a farm, and they've got stuff in storage that they originally, when they moved back to the farm from Canberra, they thought their kids were going to take a lot of stuff and the kids didn't. So they sort of said, John, come and get it. We went to their container and basically went through and said, do you want this, do you want that, do you want this? And, I loaded up a truck and a trailer and away I went. And they were, they're beautiful people. They're great people. I had, I've got one mate who, I've got a TV I'm getting, updating. Do you want the other one? It's 55-inch, blah, blah, blah. I got a microwave. I had a friend of mine, she dropped around and her boyfriend had a 55-inch TV that was sitting there doing nothing. Would you like it? It's like, do I have to give it back? If I do, I don't want it. No, it's yours. So I had to get a stand for it because I can't put it on a wall. But yeah, some of these people have been fantastic. It's amazing what extra stuff people have that they will get rid of. Like my boss from work gave me a sofa bed. It had been sitting in his warehouse and, yeah, do you want this? Share. Yeah, because I'd talked about getting a sofa bed. Gumtree was fantastic, buying things cheaply. Different sales. But your friends, you're not on your own when you do it. There were times when I felt like it, but I wasn't on my own. So subsequently, with a lot of help from friends and going to a couple of sales, I've now got, a queen size bed. I've got a bunk bed that's got a double and a single bunk. I've got a sofa bed. I've got a lounge. I've got a dining table, chairs. I've got plates and bowls and crockery and cutlery and Tupperware containers. I've got plenty of stuff. And in saying that, you don't need a lot. When we first separated, we were in a different financial position, and I went out and bought the king size bed that we'd talked about, the big TV that I'd wanted in that relationship, the stereo system that was great, blah, blah, blah. And I walked in the house one day that I was bought, and I stood in the doorway and I could see the big TV and the stereo. I knew the king size bed was down the hall, the beautiful new fridge, the this, that and the other. And I just stood inside the doorway and I stood still for about 30 seconds and the house was quiet. There was no sound. And I looked at the TV and I looked at the stereo and the fridge, I saw the fridge and I went, this is just stuff. Good stuff, but it's just stuff. And while I like good things, the reality of I'd prefer to have the relationship with my kids, or I'd prefer to have people. So this time around, I've got decent stuff. And, one day when I can afford it, I'll upgrade and I'll do something different. But that'll be one day. It'll be... In the meantime, I've got enough to get me through. I've got some beautiful friends who have helped me out. Gumtree was a good friend. and there's some good deals on there, because people naturally do have too much stuff. We all do have too much stuff, and we can actually do with a lot less. But yeah, so that's how I sort of furnished the house. That was the thing for me. Furnish it. You don't need the biggest and best. You just need something. Something to sleep on, something to put your food in the have a fridge to put your food in, and some stuff to eat off. Something to have kids around on, a TV to watch. So start with the basics.